If I had to find the greatest common factor of two numbers, factor trees would be one of the last methods I would ever use, just because it takes way too long. So here's one of the other methods that I would use instead. It's called the ladder method. So for finding the greatest common factor of 48 and 120, we ask ourselves, what factor do these numbers have in common? Let's start with 4. And then we divide both numbers by 4. And then we keep going. We ask ourselves, what factor do 12 and 30 have in common? Let's say 6. Then we divide both numbers by 6 to get 2 and 5. Now, 2 and 5 are what we call relatively prime, meaning they have no other factor in common besides 1. That means we're done. So we multiply the numbers that we factored out to get the greatest common factor. So the greatest common factor of 48 and 120 is 24. And what's great about this method is that it's flexible, so there are several ways of getting the correct answer. And another thing that's great about this method is that if we're only looking at two numbers, this also finds the least common multiple as well. All we have to do is multiply the numbers in this L shape. So there you have it. Factor trees can help by showing the prime factorization of the numbers, but if the goal is to get the greatest common factor, I personally would rather use the ladder method or the Euclidean algorithm, which I talked about in the last video.